Alright, this card excites me. It's really cool. So, welcome to card number 5 in the holiday series. This is Allison with Black Cat Scraps. Alright, so this pattern papers here are 3 by 6, and I've scored them on the 1/2 inch marks and accordion folded them. And now what I'm going to do is very carefully, not to tear the seams, is I'm going to crumple them into a ball, and I'm looking to make a wrinkled fabric effect. Very carefully open them back up, and then just crinkle them in a different manner. Alright, so I've got them folded up in the accordion fold, and now I'm pressing down on all the folds to get a little more of a natural fabric look. And I'm crunching them up and bunching it up in this one spot so that I can add some ribbon. And I'm going to tie a bow, and I'm going to make this bow as small as I can to make it more lifelike. I want it to be somewhat to scale, so if the curtains are, you know, only 6 inches tall, then I want to make sure that bow is pretty small. And I'm going to repeat the same process for the other curtain. Alright, so I'm using this sticky note to simulate my window frame, and I'm marking off 1 inch on both sides of the card, as well as I'm going to find out how low I want the window to go, and as well as how high I want the window to go. So I've marked all my lines, and I've got the window drawn out, and then I realized that I did it on the wrong side, like so. I fix it. Simple. Alright, so now I'm ready to cut out with my X-Acto knife the window. Alright, so I temporarily adhered this with temporary adhesive, and I have marked out the corners very carefully, as well as on the vellum I'm going to draw a line of the halfway mark there and here. Alright. I have my vellum flipped over so my pencil lines are facing down. So I can see where I need to put my lines, and I'm going to take my Versamark pen and I'm drawing thick lines over the pencil lines, and I want to make it look like snowfall on a window. And then I'm going to add some dots so it looks like snowfall outside. And I've used American Crafts embossing powder. This is white. Alright. And I'm going to erase my pencil lines. Alright, and here I've got strips of just plain white cardstock. They're 3/16 widthwise, and I'm putting them on the halfway marks. Alright, so I've picked this as my wallpaper background, and make sure I line it up exactly where I want it. I'm going to open up the inside of the card, and I'm going to completely trace the frame of the window onto the card. And then I'm going to cut this out. Perfect. Right, I'm taking a thin bead of craft glue and going along the frame and the outer part, and I'm going to take my finger and smear the glue so it's not too thick, and I'm going to line up my frame, and to make sure I'm going to check on the front to see if it's lined up properly. Right, now I'm going to adhere this silver gray piece that I've stamped with snowflakes. This is going to simulate the outside of the house, and I've already cut the frame out and everything, and I'm using Tombow Mono to glue it down. Okay, and for the front of the card, which is the inside of the room, I've taken the window frame and the cross part, and I've embossed them with chestnut brown embossing powder from American Crafts. Right, and to glue the frame down, I'm just going to run some Tombow Mono along it, and I can just rub it right off my craft mats. And I'm going to line up my frame and just make sure that it covers what it's supposed to. It should be the right size and everything, just making sure it's straight. Right, and I'm ready to glue down my curtains. And I'm using Tombow Mono again, and I'm just doing it on the outer side so that I can fiddle around with this top part to get it to lay where I want. And I'm going to crumple it up just a little bit so I get make it look more like natural fabric folds. Alright, so this strip is going to be the valance for the curtains, and I'm sticking it down with 2 layers of pop dots to make sure that it stays off the curtains enough. So I don't have a Stamp-O-Majig, but instead I'm going to poke holes on this stamp that I've done, and I'm going to line up my snowman in the window where I want to stamp him. So with him held firmly down, I'm going to stick a pencil in the holes that I just made so I can get an idea of where I can put those points of the snowman down. This is StazOn Black, and I'm going to peek through that tiny little gap that I have between the cardstock and the stamp and line it up as best I can. I want to decorate my snowman now, so I'm going to use watercolor pencil onto his hat and scarf and nose, and then I took my embossing pen and I just kind of drew in some snow and then sprinkled on some white embossing powder, and I had to do a couple applications. So it's actually really thick and white, and it's kind of moundy. And then I added a couple little dots here and there on his hat and on his arms and a little bit on his belly. If you haven't done it already, you should subscribe. And from the bottom of my heart, thanks for watching. And if you want to support me further, share this video. There's a snowman in the window. Here's the inside. It's an adorable snowman.